She cheated 2 weeks before the wedding. I exposed her at the altar. The revenge was perfect. I was scrolling through my phone at 2 in the morning when I saw it, a notification that would change everything. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this nightmare actually began. 3 weeks before my wedding, I was the happiest man alive. Sarah and I had been together for 5 years, 5 years of what I thought was pure love, trust, and partnership. We met in college, started dating in our junior year, and I proposed to her on the beach in Maui 2 years later. She said yes with tears streaming down her face, and I genuinely believed I was the luckiest guy in the world. The wedding planning had been intense. Sarah wanted everything to be perfect, and honestly, so did I. We'd booked this beautiful venue overlooking the coast, invited 200 guests, and spent countless hours picking out every little detail. The flowers, the music, the seating arrangements, everything was falling into place. I work in tech sales, and I've been pulling crazy hours to save up for our honeymoon in Greece. Sarah worked as a marketing coordinator at a downtown firm. She'd often tell me about her coworkers, the office drama, the projects she was working on. There was this one guy she mentioned occasionally, Marcus, her supervisor. She'd say things like, "Marcus wants this campaign done by Friday," or "Marcus approved my proposal." Normal work stuff. I never thought twice about it. Looking back now, I can see all the signs I missed. The way she started staying late at the office more frequently, how she'd smile at her phone and quickly lock it when I walked into the room, the new lingerie that appeared in her drawer that I never got to see her wear, the sudden interest in going to the gym 4 times a week. But love makes you blind, doesn't it? Or maybe I just didn't want to see what was right in front of me. 3 weeks before the wedding, Sarah told me she was going on a work trip to Seattle for a conference. 3 days, she said, no big deal. I helped her pack, drove her to the airport, kissed her goodbye, told her I'd miss her. She looked me right in the eyes and said she'd miss me too. That first night, I decided to stay up late and finish some work from home. Around midnight, I was mindlessly scrolling through social media when I got a friend request from someone I didn't know, Jennifer Chen. The profile picture showed a woman in her 30s, professional looking. I almost ignored it, but something made me click accept. 10 minutes later, a message popped up. "You don't know me, but I think you should know something about your fiancé." My heart immediately started pounding. This had to be a scam, right? Some bot trying to mess with people? But then another message came through. "I'm Maris Chen, Marcus's wife. I think our partners are having an affair." I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. My hands started shaking. I typed back, "Are you sure it's my fiancé? There are lots of Sarahs." What came next destroyed me. Jennifer sent screenshots, messages between Marcus and Sarah that went back 4 months. 4 months of, "I can't wait to see you. Last night was incredible. I wish we didn't have to hide this." There were intimate details that made me physically sick. Plans to meet up at hotels, complaints about how Marcus's wife was getting suspicious, and then the one that really killed me. Only 3 more weeks until his wedding, then we need to be more careful for a while. She was talking about me, about our wedding. She was planning to marry me while continuing this affair. I sat there in our apartment, in the home we'd built together, surrounded by wedding gifts from the shower, staring at these messages until my vision blurred. I didn't sleep that night, or the next night. I just kept reading those screenshots over and over, memorizing every word, every emoji, every casual betrayal. Jennifer and I talked more over the next few days. She'd discovered the affair 2 weeks earlier when Marcus left his laptop open. She'd been gathering evidence, screenshots, everything. She was planning to divorce him, but wanted to warn me first. We formed this strange alliance, 2 people who'd never met, bonded by betrayal. The thing was, Sarah had no idea I knew. She came back from her conference 3 days later, all smiles and stories about boring presentations and hotel room service. She kissed me at the airport like nothing was wrong, showed me pictures from the convention center that she'd probably grabbed from Google, gave me a snow globe as a souvenir. I had to use every ounce of self-control not to confront her right there. But I had a better idea forming in my mind. If she could fake it for 4 months, I could fake it for 3 weeks. Those 3 weeks were the hardest of my life. I had to smile at dress fittings, laugh at bachelor party jokes about the old ball and chain, listen to speeches about love and commitment at the rehearsal dinner. All while knowing the woman standing next to me had been sleeping with her boss for a third of our engagement. I thought about calling it off 100 times, just canceling everything and walking away. But then I'd remember those messages, the way she complained about having to pretend to be excited about wedding planning, how she told Marcus that I was sweet but boring, how they laughed about me working extra hours to pay for a honeymoon while she was in hotel rooms with him. No, she didn't get to just have the wedding canceled. She didn't get to play the victim, to tell people we had different paths or grew apart. She was going to face what she'd done in front of everyone who mattered to her. Jennifer and I made a plan. She gathered more evidence. I hired a photographer to document some of their meetings, hotel visits, nothing illegal, just surveillance that proved the timeline. I consulted with a lawyer about the financial aspects, protecting myself from any joint accounts we'd opened. I was methodical, calculated. Every time Sarah kissed me or told me she loved me, I added another detail to my plan. The wedding day arrived. Sarah looked beautiful, I'll admit that. Her dress was stunning, her makeup perfect, her smile radiant. Our families were there, all our friends, everyone dressed up and happy. The venue was decorated exactly how she wanted it. The weather was perfect. Everything was falling into place. We stood at the altar as the ceremony began. The officiant talked about love and trust and partnership. Sarah held my hands, tears in her eyes. I could see her mother in the front row, crying happy tears. My best man, Jake, standing beside me with the rings. Then came the vows. Sarah went first. She talked about how I was her rock, her best friend, her soulmate, how she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with me, how I made her believe in true love. Her voice cracked with emotion. Some guests were openly crying. Then it was my turn. I pulled out my phone instead of the vow cards everyone expected. "Sarah," I began, "I want to share something with everyone here today. Something about trust and honesty in a relationship." Her face went pale. She knew something was wrong. "4 months ago, you started an affair with your boss, Marcus. You've been sleeping with him while planning our wedding, while picking out flowers and cake flavors, while I worked overtime to pay for our honeymoon." The gasps from the crowd were immediate. Sarah's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her mother stood up. My mother grabbed my father's arm. 3 weeks ago, Marcus's wife, Jennifer, contacted me. She showed me the messages between you two. Let me read some of my favorites. I started reading directly from the screenshots on my phone, the intimate messages, the complaints about me, the jokes they shared at my expense. With each word, Sarah's face got redder. Tears started streaming down her cheeks, but these weren't happy tears anymore. "Sarah, you stood here and called me your soulmate, but 2 nights ago, you told Marcus you wished you could cancel this wedding but couldn't because everything was already paid for." The crowd erupted. Her bridesmaids were crying. My groomsmen looked ready to fight someone. Her father was making his way toward the altar, his face purple with rage. But I wasn't sure if he was angry at her or me. "So no, Sarah, I don't take you to be my wife. I don't want to build a life with someone who could lie to my face every single day for months. I don't want to marry someone who sees me as boring but convenient." I turned to the crowd. "I'm sorry everyone had to witness this. The venue is still ours for the day, and the food is paid for, so please stay and enjoy yourselves. Consider it a celebration of freedom instead of a wedding." And Sarah? She was full-on sobbing now, mascara running down her face, her perfect makeup ruined. "I've already moved your things out of our apartment. The lease is in my name. I've separated our bank accounts. And Marcus? Yeah, he's here today." I gestured to the back, where Jennifer had just walked in with Marcus, who she'd convinced to come to support his employee's big day. His face when he realized what was happening was almost as good as Sarah's. Jennifer's divorce lawyer is ready to name Sarah as the affair partner. Enjoy dealing with that. The venue erupted into chaos. Sarah tried to grab my arm, but I stepped back. Her mother was screaming. Marcus was trying to leave, but Jennifer blocked his path, saying something I couldn't hear. My family surrounded me. My sister actually cheered. Half the guests were recording on their phones. It was absolute mayhem. I walked out of that venue with my head held high. Jake and my groomsmen followed, and we ended up at a bar downtown, still in our tuxedos, toasting to dodged bullets and new beginnings. The aftermath was insane. The videos went viral in our social circle. Sarah tried calling me 800 times that first week. She sent emails, texts, had friends reach out. She tried apologizing, explaining, justifying, said it was a mistake, that Marcus had pursued her, that she was going to end it after the wedding, that she really did love me. I blocked her on everything. Marcus lost his job when HR got involved. Apparently, supervisor-employee relationships were against company policy, and the public scandal didn't help. Jennifer took him for everything in the divorce. Last I heard, he's working some entry-level position in a different city, and Sarah had to move back with her parents after she couldn't afford rent on her own. Me? I threw myself into work, hit the gym hard, started therapy to process everything. It's been 8 months now. Some days are harder than others. I'm not going to lie and say I'm completely over it. 5 years doesn't just disappear. Sometimes I still wake up and forget for a second what happened, and then reality hits. But here's the thing. I'm glad I found out before the wedding instead of after. I'm glad I didn't waste more years with someone who could betray me so easily. I'm glad I stood up for myself instead of quietly walking away. My friends tell me the story has become legendary. Remember when Daniel exposed his cheating fiancé at the altar? I'm apparently the hero in some people's stories and the villain in others. Some of Sarah's friends think I humiliated her unnecessarily, that I should have just called off the wedding privately. But you know what? She humiliated herself. I just made sure everyone saw the real her. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Did she deserve a private conversation instead of a public exposure? Maybe in a different situation, but after 4 months of lies, after planning to go through with marrying me while continuing her affair, after everything I read in those messages, no. She deserved exactly what she got. Jennifer and I are actually friends now. We meet up for coffee sometimes, laugh about how we formed the weirdest support group ever. She's dating someone new. Seems happy. She says exposing Marcus at the wedding was the most satisfying moment of her entire divorce process. As for dating again, I'm taking it slow. I'm working on trusting again, on not seeing red flags where there aren't any. My therapist says I'm making progress. I went on a few dates, nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it. I know not everyone is like Sarah. I know real love exists because my parents have it, my grandparents had it, my friends have it.
The money I'd saved for the honeymoon? I used it to take my parents on a trip to Italy. They'd always wanted to go, but never had the chance. We spent 2 weeks eating pasta, drinking wine, and seeing the sights. It was healing in a way I didn't expect. Sometimes people ask me if I regret the way I handled it, if I wish I'd been more mature, more private, more forgiving. And my answer is always the same. No. She made her choices for 4 months. I made mine for 3 weeks. She chose to betray me every single day. I chose to protect myself and expose the truth. The wedding that never happened taught me more about myself than any wedding that did could have. It taught me that I have a spine, that I won't accept betrayal just because it's easier than confrontation, that I value myself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't value me. Sarah tried to reach out a few months ago through a mutual friend, said she'd been in therapy, that she understood what she'd done wrong, that she wanted closure. I declined. I don't know her closure. I don't know her forgiveness. I don't owe her anything. My closure came when I walked out of that venue, when I chose myself over someone who never chose me. People love to talk about how revenge is hollow, how it doesn't make you feel better. But honestly, standing there at that altar, watching her face as her perfect day and her perfect lies crumbled around her, seeing Marcus realize he'd been caught, knowing that everyone now knew the truth instead of whatever story they would have spun later, it felt pretty damn good. I'm not saying everyone should handle betrayal the way I did. Every situation is different. But for me, it was the right choice. It was taking back my power in a situation where I'd felt completely powerless. It was refusing to be the silent victim who just disappears while they get to control the narrative. The best revenge, they say, is living well. And I am. I got a promotion at work, I'm in the best shape of my life, I have amazing friends and family who supported me through everything. I'm genuinely happy most days, which is something I wasn't sure I'd ever feel again during those first few dark weeks. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Jennifer never reached out, if I'd married Sarah without knowing. How long would it have lasted? Would she have ended it with Marcus eventually? Would I have found out years later, maybe after kids, after a mortgage, after building an entire life together? The thought makes me sick. But she did reach out. I did find out. And I did something about it. That's what matters. So if you're out there and you're going through something similar, whether you're the one who got cheated on or you're watching a friend go through it, remember this. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, who doesn't make you an option while they explore others, who respects you enough to be honest, even when the truth is hard. Don't settle for less. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't let anyone convince you that you're overreacting or that you should just forgive and forget. Trust your gut. Protect yourself. And if someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. As for that wedding day, the one that ended in chaos instead of I do, it was supposed to be the beginning of my life with Sarah. Instead, it became the beginning of my life without her. And you know what? That turned out to be exactly what I needed. The venue coordinator later told me that after we left, some guests actually stayed and ate the food, drank the wine, and turned it into the strangest party she'd ever worked. My uncle apparently gave a toast about dodging bullets. My cousin caught the bouquet that Sarah had thrown down before running out. Someone put on the playlist and people danced. In a weird way, it was still a celebration, just not the one anyone expected. I kept one thing from that day. A photo that Jake took on his phone as I walked away from the altar. I'm in my tux, the venue behind me, and I'm smiling. Not a fake smile, not a bitter smile, but a genuine, relieved, free smile. I look at it sometimes when I need a reminder that I made the right choice. Would I change anything? Maybe I would have found out sooner. Maybe I would have trusted my instincts when things started feeling off. But the ending? The exposure? The revenge? No. That I wouldn't change for anything. She wanted a perfect wedding day, and she got a memorable one, just not in the way she planned. And me? I got my self-respect back. I got my freedom. I got my truth. And honestly, that's better than any wedding could have been.